So welcome to today's fitting. We're joined by Steve, who's a long-term repeat offender. So currently we're going to look over a club that has been, well, shaft that's been used a few times and currently not behaving so much for you.
Correct, yes. Yeah, so starting to lose things right, get across the top of it, pull it left. 9.3 index at the moment and hoping to get that down a bit further.
Got it. So get the driver behaving, get off the tee, attack the course from there.
Yeah.
Right, great stuff. So this shaft originally fitted, we think about 12 years ago. And Steve's been coming in no longer than that. So, but something that has gone into a few different heads. Started off on a Ping, now in a Titleist. But until now, the shaft still performed well. Great quality of the Acura, the Tour ZX265. So it's sort of high 60s in weight, but it's fairly tip balanced. And one of the things with Steve mentioning about it going right, that's certainly something to have a little look at. If they're actually just the club making him have to work a little hard to square it off. But for us, what we call standard length, 45-inch, D3.5. So there's a good bit of feel in the bottom end, but can we just make it easier to get the most out of? So swing planes change a little bit over time. And if we can get that club face under control a little bit more there, straighter, which then results in, like Steve doesn't lack distance, but in play and a good distance is better than good distance and out of play. So that'll be focus number one. So anything in particular that you're working on swing-wise at the moment?
Just smooth tempo.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep that smooth tempo rather than try and rip it every shot.
And is that, with this one, is it almost, if you don't go after it, is it sort of that when it kind of tails off?
If I don't go after it, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So it can be any direction. Trying to go half swing will actually cause me more issues than trying to do the full swing.
Yeah, I think it's where probably with this one where it's been in the bag a while, that side of 10 years back, potentially just the swing being a little different and needing a bit more weight. Like that swing there is a perfect example. It's absolutely on line. It's half a degree into out pathwise, 2.8 up. It's a lovely delivery line, but the head's just a little late on you. Yeah. And then the problem then is you flip the toe to square it up, and then it's all kinds of pain. Yeah, and as you rightly say, unless you're, when a club gets on that stronger side weight-wise, unless you're committing to it, making sure that you're fetching the club through, it just then amplifies the error. Yeah. But then going after it potentially throws the swing off. So double whammy. Okay, cool. Okay, let's have a little. We'll give you a little run through numbers and things on here. So. Ultimately, swing lines and things, angle of attack, 1-2 degrees up, that's great. Paths, a couple of degrees into out on average is pretty neutral, but it's that face control. Yeah. So swing line's really nice. Efficiency's good because you're on a good line, but if we put it on the dispersion, put it on total, that's the bit that. Yeah.
That's the bit that's killing me.
That's the big miss, and then the natural reaction. We haven't got one on here yet, but then the natural reaction is the one that rips left. Yes. So it's not the lines of the swing that's the issue. It's just so club face just isn't quite with you.
And what I've been doing is I've been actually teeing down further and further to just try and keep a bit more control and get it slower into the face.
I guess with that getting a little more on top of, I guess the more underneath you go, the more right it goes.
Yeah.
So so I think first bit. I mean, look, flight when it's good is pretty strong. I play TSR. It's out the middle. It's a great head.
Yeah.
Current heads are going to be a little bit more margin of error, but actually on the good hits, I wouldn't be looking to change flight particularly. But we can see where the spin's up and down a little bit, and that's face angle and just losing strike a little bit. But just toning it back a bit so that you're making a nice move. It doesn't look like you're bursting a blood vessel on it. So if we can get the club coming with you, then that face just stabilises massively. So.
Yeah, and again, I'm not tied to the head. The shaft has done its life, so let's see what we can do.
Righty-ho. Any heads in particular that you're interested to test?
I do like the Titleist. I do like the Ping.
Yeah.
But look, open to you. You know my game now, so.
So what we'll do head-wise, we'll start with the GTS3, just as it's a natural carryover, work on shaft first, get that dialed in, and then we can see what we need to do with flight from there.
Sure, okay.
So essentially what we're doing with this, I'm going to change kind of single variable at a time. So it's a similar balance point, but just a little bit less heavy. Okay, so less stuck. Let's see one more.
So it feels a little bit floaty, Simon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if we just drop dead weight and leave the weight in the bottom end, it separates it a bit.
Yeah.
So, right, let's go back a little heavier, but go a little more even balance through. Okay. Okay, so that one, I think, the second one was a little bit of reaction to the left. You actually got path squared off more.
Yes.
But just then slightly overheld the face off.
Yeah. So let's see what we can do with this.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna get a couple of grams. I think it's just on the top end. I think if you were wanting to stand and clatter it, I think that weight's suitable for that because it's a little closer to the dead weight of this, just even the weight through. So we went from, this is like 68, 69 grams to 63.5 to 68. Just need to couple of grams off.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's just slightly more out in front of you because I think the balance looks quite nice. It just looks like it's a little back hip and you're starting to get it to the ball a little bit. A little bit lighter than the last shaft. Just popped a little bit. That's a line, might just call a little high. Oh, that tee's just popped out again. Just square a line just a little higher in the face. Just trying to find that point where everything just arrives together. Okay.
So it feels a lot better.
Yeah.
It's feeling like it's coming through on the plane without me having to.
Yeah, even the first one, they're quite high on the face. The path, face-to-path numbers are smaller.
Yeah.
You know, squarer numbers. Okay, maybe a little low on the face, but
A little low on the face.
okay. That's a lot closer.
Yeah.
It's just tidied up the line, so a bit low on the face, but yeah, left friend, yeah. But it's just dropping down a little bit. It's lost the big face angle numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a million miles off. It's not quite there because it's not quite timing.
No, but it's.
But it's that thing where your current one at 68 is a couple of grams heavy. When you drop it to 63, it's a couple of grams light. And you're like, I mean, I've got about a 2 gram window to fit in. So now we know where that top and bottom is. Watch this, I'll get a couple of others. Yeah, it's not quite there, but it's not a million miles off.
I'd play that much more.
A little bit of a heel strike saved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's the overall experience. You know, when from arriving, cup of tea, sat in a lovely waiting area, and just having this whole. Yeah, your game is all that matters to Simon, and that's the bit that makes you feel special. You know, you see the tours, you imagine the tours having this every single time they're going out, and it's a treat to just come and have it just for a day. You go through a full bag fitting, and you walk away with you're never oversold, so you're only ever told what you need, or they'll tweak what you've got. And you walk out of here feeling $1 million, thinking, yep, next time I'm on the course, I'm going to shoot my career best. So that feels like it's pulling me around a little, which is interesting.
Okay, that's a little cleaner. Because we want the club to swing you a little bit.
Yep, it's perfect.
Yeah, and so that was a fairly polite move.
Yes, I wasn't hard
It looked nice. It looked nice and connected.
And
yeah.
it's 268, 270.
Yeah. Just up the right ahead, but a good hit.
Yeah. So I'm just having trouble squaring the face up. I think that's me, not the club.
Okay, that's a bit heely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to drop that back a little bit. Its first one was great, but as you put speed into it, it then started to go out a little bit. So I think where you said, oh, that's taking me through, I think that's probably just getting a little bit
stuck.
Just a hair behind. Quite like the look of that one.
Again, just a reasonably smooth.
Okay, that one slightly right, but that looked like you and the club stayed. I mean,
It was
it's
better.
it's a bit
It
of
felt
a fade,
better. It felt a lot
but
better.
it looked like you stayed with you through the shot more.
Yeah. So that was more. Well, it's all on me.
Okay. Little heel strike, but screw on the waist. Okay, I'll come back to that one. That's definitely. It might need a little fine tune on head weighting, but that's definitely moving a little better.
Yeah.
Just the way it let you build up. So yes, strike point on that one's got. Find the right page. It's got a little heel side.
It's on the heel side.
But it's on good lines, so it's more strike point rather than the face getting out of kilter.
So I mean, that could just be set up. So at the moment, I do set up centre. I maybe just need to set up a quarter of an inch further back.
Yep.
Is this a slimmer grip?
Potentially a little bit. The shaft diameter has just changed slightly, so it could feel just a touch thinner. I think that narrows a bit more in the bottom hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Solid. Creating a little bit of, okay, no, not a lot, getting good speed on that, okay. That's nice. So potentially just tee height is working its way out a little bit, so left that a hair right.
Yeah.
But that's got naturally a little bit more, those first couple have got a bit more speed, but just through being a little freer, I think.
Yeah.
Up at 1:09, pushing 1:10 there. So but it's a stable move. Yeah, that swing there, we should see just a hair of, just hung a hair up. But that one there, in terms of what I want to see, is you got to there and then everything stayed with through the shot.
Yeah.
It looked really, okay, it's drifted a little bit right, but
Was that more of a heel hit as well? Or just slightly open face?
That was pretty just slightly open face.
Okay.
So path 2 in 2 out, 1.8, face a little bit open. But it didn't look like the club kind of got out of plane. It looked like the face stayed with you, just left it a hair open. Just slightly overcorrected.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll come back to that. We'll put the grip on that's a little bit bigger, because that could be, again, just that little bit of holding on. I'm going to put, I'll put the slightly bigger grip on a couple of them, because I think
that does feel, it feels much more connected.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like one or two grams difference, but those Bachelor swings looked really stable through, and looked like you could, again, we're not trying to force yardage, but actually if we can create speed without having to force it, you know, we're seeing club speeds here that are noticeably up. You know, 108 average there versus 106, 104. Where with the others you're having to be a little bit more careful.
What's the speed on my own club as it is at the moment?
Those ones were 103, but when you went to 105, but then reined it back down potentially just to gain that feel of control. Whereas, okay, yes, you've hit more shots, but it started at 108.
Yes.
Nearly, and then got to 110, and okay, dropped a couple of miles an hour back, but it's 5 miles an hour on.
Yes.
But it looks a natural speed. There's not a.
Yeah, I'm not having to force it. I'm not trying to throw into it. It's just, it feels like it's just coming through very cleanly.
So very stable path, angle of attack numbers. Be interesting to see with the bigger grip whether that helps just to stabilise face a little bit more, which I shall do on both of those. Thanks. So it's been a case of working out. We know that the original shaft's just a little hard work, and Steve's having to fetch it to get it there. And the problem is that then that brings in, for somebody who's got a kind of bit of a rotation through the ball, it brings in both misses. So if we can get the club arriving in sync, then it takes out that need to square the face. But Steve's got a pretty narrow window to fit within. So getting everything arriving in sync is, it's like my own game, it's a couple of grams here or there, a little bit of balance point. So we kind of found too light, dialed it back up. Now we're just sort of looking at, we're in that 65 odd gram, 65, 66 gram window. It's just seeing, you know, putting the bigger grip on that uses the +4 grip as well, see if that stabilises the hands, but just see which one lets them just swing. And it might be just a slight change in head style, helps to manage club face a bit as well. So just sort of fine tuning those bits down now. Slightly. It's a good hit. When you're on course with the current one, which miss are you more like? Do you set up to a shot, kind of almost sort of allowing for a bit of a miss?
I can't, because it will go both ways.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
And I think it's the push is the standard.
Yeah.
And then I'll then snap it over.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll get that horrible big duck hook that pulls me, you know. And at Lambourne, there's a few holes of OB down the left. It's
nice. Yeah. Okay. That's a nice move. Is that just drawing a bit? Drawing a bit. Okay.
Drawing a bit.
That's path based. Okay. I'll watch one more. I'll pop the other shaft in.
So my setup is actually fairly, you know, this foot is back a bit, so it is trying to promote that draw a bit.
So I think my preference would be for, I mean, that one path got a bit more into it, but one that doesn't go that way. My preference would be for one that just holds right. As long as you're not then having to pull it over. I think if it's just a case of keep turning.
It's trying to promote the draw with the face through the ball rather than the old tennis forehand.
Yeah. It's a good strong flight out of that. Now we can afford to go up a little bit from where it is, but that will, once we've dialed shaft in, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So let's just take a little.
I mean, realistically, distance. I'm not trying to get to 300. I'm not trying to be Rory. I just want it in the middle of the fairway, or at least left edge, right edge.
Yeah. Well, ultimately that it indirectly leads to distance, because it leads to just trusting that it's going where you want it to. So, you know, that's, I mean, if you're hitting it straight, you'll free it up, and you'll gain speed just by being freer.
Yeah.
it's certainly something that I've found the last couple of years. I've been asked, "Oh, have you been doing swing work, speed work?" And the answer is no. I just trust where it's going.
Yeah.
Okay, like that. Little, okay. Interesting. So this one's slightly easier through the ball,
Yeah.
but whereas I think the Ventus allows you to be a bit more positive, but the mist is that side a bit more.
Yeah.
This one, it's just a little easier to turn
to
over.
flick over.
So, ultimately, if you gain confidence, you're not likely to back off it. Like, that's a great move through the ball, but that's probably a slightly quieter swing. Yeah, you've taken 2 or 3 miles an hour off.
Yeah.
So if you wanted a club that promoted / allowed you to tone it back,
I think
that's a great setup,
so I
but it
think,
requires you to swing that way a little bit more.
yeah. So it's trying to smooth it down. I guess over time, getting used to it will allow me to go and attack more and more as I get used to it. But yeah, otherwise I'll be back next year and we'll do a new one.
Well, I think, as I say, if you're managing an injury or managing something where you said, I don't want to feel like I've got to stretch at it, that's great. Those first couple of those good distances, good speed. But then that one where
I went after it a bit.
and it just shut that face down.
Yeah.
That would be my only concern with it, because the better it goes, where you're not going to actively thrash at it, but you're going to just
It's going to
increase
speed. So,
so I think I'll pop the other one back in.
just let me have one more. One more swing with this. Just want to having a bit more confidence with it. So rather than shut the face down, which I tend to do, I'm just going to trust. I'm going to trust the path and the swing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think where your natural swing is more positive, I just think the other one stayed with you for that move a little bit better.
Longer. Yes.
I think with the accuracy, whilst initial results are very good, the moment you hit a couple that went well and
now I need to go after it. Now I can push a bit
just
harder.
pushed a little harder. Yeah, it then got away from you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. Just you start down, that one just it's got that move, whereas you move, it drops in, which allows you to use that little bit of extra weight a bit more, and straight away that's just then a very tight draw.
Yeah, so I can feel it. It's that through, as opposed to me having to almost cast it.
Yeah, and the other one looked like it just got a little bit over the top on you and then had to reroute.
I was slightly open face.
Just came off that a little. Yeah. I think
it's the commit.
That's one of you. If you can just almost just finish the swing, you haven't got to clatter it. If you can just finish the swing, then it's there. It's with you through the shot. Yeah, 0.3 on the face to path. So it doesn't require you to burst the blood
melt
vessel,
it,
but it's just finish
just
that,
commit and finish the swing.
Yeah. A little heely. Yeah, a little heely, but
a little heely, but it's
okay. I'm gonna get a couple of different heads just to see whether the GTS 3 technically there's a little bit more stability we can get. It's whether, say for example, I'm not really trying to get spinning things up, but if we can use say GTS 2 forward or one of the pings just to see do we gain a little bit of stability. Yeah. So GTS 3's good, producing good ball speed, just, if anything, just knocking flight down a little bit. And actually we're looking for, Steve just said there, we're looking for stability and margin of error, consistency, not necessarily an extra couple of yards. So does the GTS2 help us to gain a bit of off-center performance? By putting the heavier weight forward, we're kind of making it GTS 2.5, what's halfway between. So keep the spin down, but give a bit more margin of error. Does it help just give a little bit more stability? Badness. Yeah, it was interesting. The speed's down a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not feeling as comfortable with it.
Does it feel? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Feels more wayward.
Okay, so this could be where we've moved weight further back. Where you play with a little bit of rotation, that's just pulling the face off a little bit.
Yeah.
I get the same thing. You know, heavier back-weighted head.
Yeah.
Then got to
I'm feeling it's
recover it around a little bit more. Okay. Right. So we don't want to lose the weight forward aspect. Right. So essentially, anyone who plays with a bit of arm roll to square the face up, the more you move the weight back from the face, it can actually start to pull the head round a bit more, and then you've got to exert more force to square it off. Just a bit more.
So then when that goes wrong, that's where the big hook comes in.
Yeah. And so as you start down, it drops. If you've got a lot of weight at the back, it can drop it more open. You've then got to recover it more.
Okay.
Hence, seeing if that feels a little less stable, we see the swing speed back right off, rather than just fly through it.
So immediately that feels better. Okay.
Yeah, and club speed. So forward weighted head, club speed immediately back up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice move. Yeah. Yeah, back up to 109. Back up, and even if there were tolerances to how this is reading club speed, we know ball speed's 161 again. Yeah, so it's a big change.
It's a huge change.
It's a slightly, what we call it, safer flight and spin off this head than the GTS3. GTS3 knocks it down a bit more.
No, that was open face. Trying to get too cute with it.
Nice move. Could see that was a little bit more careful as a swing, but that's, I mean, again, straight, even one that looks quiet as a swing, still 107. Okay. Okay, that's worth putting on to your current head as a comparison. So something we've seen with GT and GTS, spin proportion slightly higher on this. Which, again, if we're not trying to force extra yardage, that's not the worst thing in the world. It means it's a little bit quieter when it lands. That's the one for me, shows where it's swinging a little heavier than I'd like. It just pushed out underneath a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, you should just
trying to hang on to that.
Work that head weight a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm just blocking it out slightly.
Yeah, I think it's so. I mean, the adapter adds a little bit of weight. It's possible to get it down a little bit more in dead weight. I mean, that one shows us where, ball speed 150, look, there's a, if you do that, it doesn't matter what head it is, giving you good ball speed.
Yes.
Technically, yes, the others are a hair better off centre. I just want to put that Taylormade back on. Hair better off centre. There's certainly an option to reshaft that.
Yep.
And quite possibly that's the first option.
I think that's the first option.
Because, I'm going to go the same debate myself. One of it is, do I want a new toy? But it's been a really good performer, and by not being overly low spin, it's actually helping. In principle, it's actually helping manage the flight, the stability a little bit.
And
not get too hot when it lands.
So as I say, the 3 wood is around the 250 to 260.
Yeah.
So this at sort of 270, 280, pushing out on a good one for 290. Actually, that's spot on. I don't need, I'm not going to be the world's longest hitter. I'm decent, but I just need to know my yardages. I need to know it's going to go where I want it to go.
Yeah, and the shaft's the bit, that change in dead weight and balance is the bit that's going to mean you've got to do less with the club face to square it up.
Although having said that,
and that's somewhere where we're back into the bang on the swing weight we want to be. Just at D2 on the, it's like just over half a point heavier in your current head.
Yeah.
Just maybe teed that a little bit low. I think, look, you can find, if you want to find an argument to change head, you can find it. I think the first step is let's
put this
shaft into that head.
Yeah.
Which then gives that head a fair crack of the whip.
Yeah.
It's still a damn good head.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm just going to see the strike button tends just into, if anything, it's pretty damn centered. I mean, it's not exactly oil over the shop, is it?
I'm happy with that.
So, I think it's not like it's massively heel and toe. And actually, I think the less you have to work the face, the quieter your hands get, because you'll just get used to not having to do it. And quite frankly, I think with the strike pattern where it is, we can, if we want to mitigate a bit of a heel strike, we can just move that weight a little bit into the heel, and it just helps manage that and lose the one that just gears a little bit right. But the shaft stops you having to fetch it, which helps to square the face just with rotation. That helps to tidy up impact a little bit. And that should lose the one that goes left. Because it's then just, you're getting to this part of 110 with just turning through.
Yes.
Rather than having to go at it. So I think that's the first step. It's a tough one to argue there's value in a head change right now.
It'll be slightly heavier than the Taylormade that we've just hit in there.
No, I mean, actually, because we can get it.
You can get it
this
right.
head with the adapters. The Titleist adapter is a slightly heavier one than the others, and you've got we've got a little bit of an additional weight on there because of the screw, so we can get it down to where we need to. It's just that one on this shaft came out half a point heavier. We can get that weight down there, which gets it swinging like this, which then you say you can do. Which one was it? Am I going to pick the right one? It's not exactly bad performance, is it?
No.
If you get that 109, then you're up pushing 300 with it, which is plenty.
That's plenty.
But the head's still performing well. The flight's moderate on spin, which is what we want. Because it's strong enough as it is. But it's a tough one to argue that there's value in changing that bit. But we're taking 2.5, 3 grams off the shaft weight, just evening out the balance a little bit, which means not then having to fetch the bottom end. And that to me where the volume.
Well, that's where the dispersion is. Is bring that down to something I can manage on the course. That is going to put me in a good position going forward.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
So actually, that's a session that there's a lot of debate about, you know, how much better are the new ones? Is it worth changing? And worth it is, there's got to be value in a change. There's got to be tangible difference, and it is getting harder to do that when you've got heads that perform really well, and ultimately, the shaft is the bit that's going to change the delivery pattern. The head, as we said, the one that's still on the screen, you get it out the centre, you line it up well. It swings on a good line. It's just decluttering impact a little bit and stopping your hands having to compensate.
Yeah, and I think that the feel for me now is that just feels stable coming through, rather than me having to fight whether it's to turn it over, to keep it open. You know, it pulls me into a different position on the backswing. That just now feels that it's sitting on that same path all the time, which is the feeling I really, really like.
That was the interesting one with that shaft versus the green accuracy hitting. There's that one had a little more of a drop in, that then, because you have that kind of slightly closed up position, more of a rotation allows you to just carry on going through. That little bit of a shallowing, the slightly heavier weight did, it just tidied up the lines. And so anything we can then do just to make that release, that rotation more natural, take the hands out, that's just going to be a good thing for dispersion down the line. So TSR survives.
Excellent.
But with a finally,
so after,
a decade on.
So after 10-12 years of service, thank you very much, Accra.
Hello,
Ventus. It's great.
So Ventus, popular shaft, but just that 2 or 3 grams lighter, slightly more smooth profile, still very stable tip, and then blue shaft rather than black and red.
Excellent.
So I hope you enjoy that fit. As you see, it's really about making sure we're providing value from a change, and not just change for change's sake, something that's really important with how good club heads from the last 2 or 3 years are. So if you like that, there's plenty more content on the channel, so hit the like button, subscribe, check out all the other content. See you again for another fitting video soon, and thanks for Steve for this one.
Thank you very much.